You may have played poker, but playing poker in Texas is a different animal. This is the Texas Poker Podcast with Tyler and Clint.
Hello, this is the Texas Poker Podcast. I'm Tyler. This is Clint.
What's up, y'all?
And we are back with episode 82.
Episode 82. So one thing that was kind of interesting that I did for the Black Friday, you know, they have all the Black Friday sale for Thanksgiving and stuff like that. One thing that went on sale that you wouldn't normally see was the Red Chip Poker site. I've been a member of Crush Live Poker for a long time, but I've always, I was a real big fan of the Red Chip Poker podcast for a long time, and they have some instructors that I really like. So one of the things I did was go ahead and sign up for it was like an introductory, I think it was like $100 for 3 months or something. So it was, I ended up doing that. So I was kind of going to give you my thoughts on kind of one versus the other, and maybe you can chime in with poker coaching since you're a part of that site.
Well, I guess we both, because you've seen my poker coaching, I've seen your Crush Live Poker, and we've also done Run It Once and all that, and we've done the introductory course of PLO on Doug Polk's site. So I guess I haven't ever, I don't want to say I haven't heard of Red Chip Poker. I know the podcast. I didn't know they had a training site though.
Yeah, I think the podcast is a branch off of their training site that they've been doing. And like I say, I've never really looked at it, but one of their popular instructors. Well, obviously James Sweeney's kind of the big one. He's the one who does the podcast, Split Suit. And the other one is one of the main reasons I did it was Ed Miller's part of their site. He's the one that wrote the book The Course that I'm always talking about, and he's what I actually consider to probably be the best, at least cash game poker author in the last probably 10-15 years.
Yeah. Well, okay. So what? How was it? What was your experience with it so far? I guess it hasn't been that long, but.
It's only been a week or so, but there are some noticeable differences right from the start. When you go to Crush Live Poker, so anybody who hasn't been on that site, the main thing is what it is Bart Hansen, who's just a brainiac when it comes to poker, a very, very good instructor. But it's him going on these basically using these live streams and kind of pointing out what they could have done here, what you could do here, and it's super helpful. Red Chip Poker is a little bit different where it's more kind of structured classes. I'd say it's almost more like kind of poker coaching a little bit where you look at, you'll do this class, it'll have one for the course, it'll have core, their GTO, and you kind of do this, and this, and it builds upon each other. I feel like it's a better... I feel like for the way I learn, it's a little bit better. The Crush Live Poker will definitely make you a better poker player, but the way the information's done is a little bit more erratic, I would say. It's on that.
Okay, 1 second. So let me just make sure. I think you might have lost me. Let me just make sure that we're on the same page. So what you're saying is Crush Live Poker, they'll go over 1-3 live stream sessions in different situations. Could be any type of situation, whatever happens on that stream, correct?
Oftentimes? They'll usually try to theme it at the beginning, but yeah, that's basically the teaching on there.
And then Red Chip is more like Jonathan Little, to where they'll have 3 betting out of position, 3 betting in position, playing the button and stuff like that, and where they just kind of go over more slideshows and talk about different situations. Yeah,
it's more kind of concept driven versus the Crush Live, where it's just it's kind of on top of, which I think are both very good training methods. I am a big fan of both sites. I will say the one thing I'll do Crush Live Poker, they're dedicated to live poker, just the live cash games. So if you are just wanting a mountain of material, that might be your better bet. The other thing, I'm a real big fan of Crush Live Poker, and even if I ever went to another site, I'd probably keep this. Their podcasts are super helpful. That was actually the first thing that drew me to that site, was I actually heard one of the podcasts on Jamin Burton's YouTube streams. And I was like, man, if I could, I don't really have a lot of time. At that point, I was married, with a kid. There's just not a lot of time to study poker throughout the day, but I was driving a crap load. Their podcasts are second to none. They're very, very helpful. And to me, they are a little bit more concept-driven because it's hard to do just hand reviews over and over on that.
No, absolutely. But I think one thing, and I guess we've also done, the master class on Phil Ivey and Daniel Negreanu, but neither of us have done Solve for Why. But I do think a lot of these sites teach generally the same thing, just different methods and just kind of slight variations. You agree with that? Just kind of however you learn, the best way that you learn, I guess you can kind of find a site that would kind of fit you.
Yeah, 100%. Like the material everywhere, like I say, we were on Poker Coaching, I was on Crush Live, and it's basically a lot of the same stuff. It's really how better. I mean, I would say like Crush Live Poker works better if you learn kind of by discussing hands, going over like spots with friends and stuff. Red Chip would probably be better if you're like you need like if you're good at like reading a book and needing it like the concepts to build on each other.
For me, what makes poker coaching so great is the hand quizzes, where you go street by street and they have different point system for every quiz you take. And what's actually pretty cool, I'm now a premium member, but before I was a premium member, and all the classes, they had like some lectures that weren't unlocked or whatever. Big portion of it is, but you could also use those points in the hand reviews to unlock different classes, which was kind of cool.
That's kind of cool. It almost gives it almost like a game feel too.
Exactly, but it wasn't like classes. It's more like Phil Hellmuth talks about this tournament he played or something. Just kind of interesting discussion. But for me, those hand quizzes really helped me learn. Those are by far the best tool for me.
Yeah, I don't know if they have that on Red Chip. I haven't like gone through that or yet, and I know they're trying to get it on Crush Live, but I don't think they quite have it yet.
Yeah, that for me is just the best tool I can have. But okay, so I guess and then also with the Black Friday, we also went to Paramount and bought some time, correct?
Yeah, on the they had a huge sale where it was like $100 for 24 hours. And I mean, I went and bought a crap load because we used to talk about it a whole lot, especially in the Houston area. There's a lot of things you can do to really up your hourly that are not poker related, where you can just, take advantage of these deals. And if they're offering that, that's one of the main places I play. You really have to jump on that because it's the same as, learning poker. I mean, just the same way you're going to sit there and read a book or do a training class to up your hourly, this is something that ups your hourly literally instantly.
Well, I do know after I bought all the time, because I also buy time in bulk whenever I'm there. I do the $100 every time in time. I know after everything was said and done, I was pretty close to having like 1,000 hours ready to play.
Same here. Yeah, I was pretty close.
So I guess now Paramount's going to be one of my main places for sure.
Yeah, I've got a ton of time to use there. So that was yeah, absolutely. I thought that was a really great thing. And like I say, it's more the overall point is just, look for these deals, whether it be showing up at a certain time and getting money on the button. I mean, or however...
Just whatever promotion they have.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a casino giving more points or more comps or something. But just use, poker to advance your hourly in a lot of different ways. One thing I was going to mention about Red Chip and Crush Live, if you are into PLO, I did one, they have one class on Red Chip it's called the PLO Primer. It is super basic. If you are looking for a PLO cash, you definitely probably want to go to Crush Live Poker. And otherwise, the tournament and online for Red Chip, they do a lot of that as well. They do a lot of live cash, but tournament online, whereas Crush Live Poker does pretty much no online play. And as far as the tournament goes, I mean, they have like Jonathan Little do like one like thing every 2 weeks or a month. It's very, very light, whereas Red Chip, they actually have full courses on it. So depending on what you're looking for as material goes, you might want to look at those two for that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no PLO on Poker Coaching at all. I've tried. I mean, people message Jonathan Little, and he's just like, kick rocks, nerd. So he's just not about it.
It's super weird because, like, Red Chip being so big, I was like, they have that author, Greg Vale, so they have a lot of high-low content. Literally nobody in the world plays high-low. I mean, I love that they have it if I want to get into that, but it seems like you would have gone PLO first and then high-low, since it's a much, much more popular game.
Yeah, I mean, seems like it, but I don't know. I got nothing for that.
Yeah, to each their own. I mean, like I say, big fan of both, so we'll on those. But I thought it was kind of interesting to see how different these training sites can be.
Absolutely. I guess we'll get into it, huh?
Yeah, we can get into it. Let me see. Are we going to go over your session or my sessions first?
I guess we can do mine so I can take the rest of the podcast off. So let's see. So I was debating where I wanted to play. I have 1,000 hours or $1,000 or no hours at Paramount. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go to their round of each, right?
Okay.
The very first hand I get Ace King of Diamonds, Jack 9 offsuit. I actually raise this to 15 pre-flop and get 8 callers.
Okay. Ace King, Jack 9, Ace King is of Diamonds.
Yep.
Okay. So really a very, very good super premium hand almost. You would rather not have the King be of Diamonds. It'd be much better if the 9 were of Diamonds. Basically because you want somebody to be able to make the second nut flush. But I like this. I like everything you're doing here.
I get 8 callers. The flop comes 8 of diamonds, 7 of diamonds, 3 of clubs. Guy, I'm on the button. One guy bets 25. Another guy calls. I have 125 behind.
Okay, so
let's go
back to
1 second. I messed it up on you. I misread my note. It goes 25. Guy calls a 25. The next guy jams 125. I have 260 behind.
Okay, so it's 8-7 of diamonds, 8-7 of diamonds, and
3 of clubs.
And 3 of clubs. You flop the nut flush draw with a gutter to the nuts.
Yes.
So I mean, at this point, this is a very easy, just jam all in.
That is what I did. I jammed. Another guy calls the 125. He had less than 125, so it's 3 ways. Turns a queen of diamond, queen of spades, queen of hearts on the river. Set of 3s wins. 3s full of queens.
I mean, this is fine. I mean, what you're looking. So when it was 25-25, someone jams for 125, and there was a caller.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, this is great. You got your money in, very positive EV. You're looking at about 50% to win here, and you're getting way better odds on your money here. So this is a very easy spot, very easy jam. I mean, you lost the pot, but you got your money in good with positive EV, and that's all you can ever hope to do.
Mm-hmm. So that was my first hand. Then my second hand, I had, oh boy, what was it? It was 8-9 Queen Jack with 2 diamonds of the Queen Jack variety.
Okay, so this is another good hand.
I don't raise. I only call a straddle 5. Whole table sees it as per usual.
I mean, I don't mind any of this.
The flop comes 10, 8, and then like a 4 or whatever.
10, 8, 4, and you have 8, 9, Queen Jack.
Yep.
Okay, so you basically have a full wrap almost here.
Yes. So I bet
is it rainbow?
yes.
Okay, so I mean, you're playing this like the absolute nuts.
Sorry, it was not rainbow. There was 2 diamonds.
Oh, 2 diamonds.
Yep.
Okay, that does change things quite a bit for me. How many were? And a lot of people were to the flop.
Whole table.
I'm playing this more passively now.
Well, I have 2 diamonds, but I bet 25.
You bet. How big was the pot?
Let's see. So it was about 40.
What position are you in?
Early position.
Man, I don't know what a 25 here accomplishes.
Apparently nothing.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this is just a check. I don't know. I like a check call here because I mean, here's the problem: is this is never getting through in a PLO pot at this point, especially on something so wet. I don't know. I like a check call here, but I mean, when you have this many outs, it's hard to do anything that's that bad. But I just don't think it accomplishes anything.
So after I had rebought, I only bought in for 200. So I was trying to bet 25 to make it so I could pot the turn to get all the money in.
If you hit the turn, basically.
Yes. That was my thought process in the moment.
I mean, would be nice to get it all in, but on there. So okay, we'll say you bet 25 on the flop. I can go with that.
I mean, that was just the thought process. I'm not saying it's correct or anything. I'm just saying that was the thought in the moment. So that's what I ended up going with.
I mean, on the good side, you're so strong here with the wrap that, like you say, when you bet here, it's really never a bad thing either because you have such good equity.
Luckily, everyone called.
Which you kind of want.
100%.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, so now this pot is gigantic.
Okay.
Offsuit 7. Drill the nuts.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so I have Queen Jack for the nuts with 2 pair. So I have 8, 9. So, no, sorry. I drilled it with the 9. That was what it was. It was 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen. So it wasn't a 7.
Okay.
It was the 9. So I have 2 pair with the nut straight on a flush draw board.
Okay, so yeah, we'll go with it. Yeah, you have 2 pair with the nut straight on flush draw board. You bet 25. Everybody calls on the flop and drill it on the turn. I mean, I assume you just pot this all in.
Yeah, I just go all in.
Okay.
2 people call. One guy has ace high flush draw. The other guy has a set of 9s.
Kind of the worst possible scenario for you.
Dodging so many outs.
Yeah, it's so.
Like
I mean,
I have either hand.
Now the board pair. Now a board pair would be problematic, or a diamond.
Yep. So I'm ahead of each hand, but their outs combined is not great for me. I think I'm still ahead though, about like 60, I would say.
Yeah, I think you would be about. I think you mean less in general to the pot. Yeah.
Yes.
I think you probably have a 60% chance of winning this. That's probably about right.
Right, because it's 9 diamonds, but you have to knock off.
Your Queen Jack.
Yeah, but then you also have to count his board pairs. That's 3, 6, 9. That's another 9 outs there, right?
But are you taking off the?
But you have to take out the other 2.
I mean, we're just going to say
yeah.
This is going to get, I can't imagine this is great for podcasts, us counting out and doing math on the podcast.
Yeah.
So let's just say you have a better than 50% chance to win.
There you go.
Okay.
7 of diamonds on the river. I get stacked in 20 minutes for 2 bullets and leave crying.
Oh, God, that is hurtful.
Talk about conserving time.
I mean, that is conserving time, though. I mean, at least, you did good by not making this like a bust out for 0 after 8 hours. You took care of business.
Yeah, I say. That was a very quick departure. So that was pretty sad, but I don't see I could have played those hands much differently. So
I mean, you got your money in good. I mean, that's at that point, I love the way you played those PLO hands. So it's, that's kind of just, the variance of PLO.
Yeah, and that was basically it for me. I guess you played some sessions too, right?
Yeah, I have been on kind of a little bit of a hot streak. I've been in the last 3 sessions. I've taken in just almost about 2,000. So, no, not about 2,000. It's probably about 16 to 1,700. So the first session I'm going to go over is, did we do the Paramount? No, I would have been there this Friday, I think. Okay. I was making sure I wasn't going over a session. So I go to Paramount on a Friday. I immediately kind of go down a little bit, but then I raise to 20 over a straddle and 4 call. I have ace-3 of spades. The flop is 3-3-4. I bet 50, get 1 call. The turn is all in. In the turn, I guess she donk leads to me for 54. I call, and she had like pocket tens for an overpair.
Oh, okay. Okay, for some reason I was thinking this was a PLO hand. But okay, that's okay, nice.
So that was really nice. That kind of got me uptick and started strike because I was kind of short stacked at that point a little bit. Like I had like 150, 125, 150 because I only bought in for like 200. So that kind of got me like on my way. There's a straddle of 5, 3 call, and I'm the small blind with ace-10 of diamonds. I make it 30.
Okay, I like this.
The straddle and 2 others call. The flop is 7-10-10.
I mean, perfect.
I mean, this is amazing, yeah. I mean, it gets better. I bet 45, and then a player shoves over the top of me.
For how much?
I don't have that written down, but if I remember right, it was nothing crazy. I think it was like 150, 160.
Okay, so you folded.
Yeah, I obviously make the easy fold. I call, and he has Jack-10. We both flop trips, and I just took it with the kicker.
Nice to be on the right side of variance there.
Very, very nice on that one. Had one PLO hand where I don't know how. I know there was a paired board. I think I had like just some kind of crazy stuff going on. I somehow get to the turn. I don't know how I got the turn. It's been a minute. But I had pocket queens. There's a paired board of 6s. And I hit the queen for top boat.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I end up on this one. I check with the intention to check raise. I mean, I've got this board very locked up. I'm only losing to quads. And nothing's really going to hurt me that much. He bet 75. I'm about to raise him and then end up just deciding to make the call. Because I'm like, well, when I raise here, do I have that many bluffs going on? And it looks just super strong. If I just call here and inflate the pot, I can just, kind of inflate the pot and then donk lead all rivers, basically. Which I do. Then the river kind of bricks quite a few draws. I bet 250 into a pot of about, it must have been about 275, 280. And then he goes all in for 280. I obviously make the call. And he actually had trips with the ace kicker and then river to boat.
Oh, God.
He just kind of caught an unlucky card to hit a lesser boat on the river.
Well, unlucky for him. Perfect card for you.
Super card. It's a great card for me.
I was about to say, we did not hit an unlucky card.
Yeah.
One of you did.
Yeah, what he did, I had that. So it ended up being a really good session at Paramount. Up 570. It was one of those where those are the 3 main hands I have recorded, but there were a lot of top pair, take it down, a lot of C-bet bluff, take it down.
A lot of the kind of standard hands.
Yeah.
Nothing too noteworthy, but still nice. Still nice whenever you start getting those hands, even when you win $40 here and there. It definitely adds up over a session.
Well, it was really nice because from a mental aspect, because I took took that hit at prime where just nothing was going my way, and basically got even from that session. So that was nice. So then there's a private game I play over, and it's weird. It's gonna seem crazy to people because it's a 1-1 game, but there's a ton of stacks with like 800 plus in them.
Right. The 1-1 is probably more of a suggestion of the blind, but it probably plays closer to like a 1-3 maybe.
Probably so. Because I would say it plays bigger than Paramount's 1-2, definitely. So probably plays more like a regular 1-3, yeah.
Yeah.
I go in and I kind of losing at the beginning of it. I buy in for $200, and I will get whittled down a little bit. Then I get pocket kings. Do you know, like, every now and then you get, like, this huge pocket pair and you get no freaking action?
Oh, yeah.
This ain't it. A player raises to 20. Oh, wait, player raises to 6 for some reason. Okay, well, we're 1-1. That makes sense. Then
Yeah,
a player
I was
bets to 20. Yeah, I was like, how is that happening? The player 3-bets to 20 and 4 call.
Nice.
It comes around to me for 180, and I have 186.
Right, so you're just all in here.
I just jam. I'm not going to play around with this. If everybody folds, I increase my percentage of my stack gigantically, and if somebody calls, all the better. One player calls and shows 7-5 of spades. The flop I'm already all in. The flop is 2-3-4. And of course, I'm like, and then he's like, "You want to run it twice?" I was like, "We can run it twice," and it bricks both times. But I mean, you're talking about like
a
goddamn,
sweat.
yeah. I mean, I thought I was gonna have that locked up so easily. Not so much. So that puts me on a good path. Once that happens, I'm pretty deep stacked. One very interesting hand, one of the most interesting hands I've ever played. I have pocket fives. A player raises to 15, I call, and one other player call. The flop is 9-6 deuce with 2 spades. The preflop raiser bets. He bets pretty much on most flops where he raises. I decide to call. I feel like pocket fives can stand one call. The other player behind me calls, which is not great. I'm kind of done with the hand. The turn is a 6, making trips on the board. Or trips possible.
Right, so pairs the board.
Exactly. It goes check, check, check. And then the river is a spade, bringing in the front door flush draw. It checks. Both players check to me. I'm sitting here with a pair of fives. Trips got there, the flush draw hit. I'm like, well, I think this is time to bluff. They've both checked both the turn and the river, and a ton of crap got there. You think that, is this what you do here?
I think so. I mean, shoot, I seem to just be bluffing every river, so yes, apparently. I mean, obviously it's what I do here.
I bet 85 in this pot. It's probably about just under a pot-sized bet.
Yeah, I'm liking all this. This all seems good.
The player tanks forever. He finally makes the call. The other player behind him folds. I tell him, okay, well, you're most likely good here. Then I table pocket fives. He looks at him for a while and then shows me a deuce and then mucks his cards.
Wow, huh?
Did not think I was going to get value off pocket fives here. I mean, it was, a stone cold bluff. He put me on a bluff, but he's like, well, I thought you kind of like might be having king high or something right there.
Yeah, I mean, super weird one to make that call whenever the flush comes in, because a lot of times you would beat like the ace high flush draw when it doesn't come in, but
that's kind of what I was thinking. Well, I was like, well, I can kind of represent a flush when it gets there. And he's like, well, are you, and I was like, well, even with a paired board, if the flush gets there, I'm not putting anybody on a check turn I'm definitely going for value there with the flush.
Oh, 100%.
So I wasn't real certain why. I mean, it was a good read. I was bluffing 100%.
Oh, he might have just got that. He might have just did a live read and just thought you were bluffing and just, thought you might have just been bluffing ace high. So,
if that's the case, it was really good. It was definitely a really good live read. It's just one of those that I happened to have something with the tiniest bit of showdown value.
Yeah, so we were talking about Crush Live Poker. Bart actually had a interesting podcast about this. Like, whenever you're hero calling, you don't want to hero call and have them accidentally win. That you should be raising if you're calling that light a lot of times.
Oh, I can kind of see that.
Because I've had that happen to me before where I hero called with ace high and he had a better ace high.
I was there. I was definitely there one of the times. You've happened to happen to you before. I feel like it's probably happened to you a couple of times.
Nothing like that where it was ace high over ace high.
It was at Legends, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember being at the table and being so freaking confused.
Good read. Bad that I lost.
Yeah, it was a great read. He was, you called his bluff. But sad.
Yeah.
No, 100%. It's, let me see if there's any other interesting hands that happen here. I turned top full house on a decent Omaha pot, and then I don't know. Must have won. I must have won.
If that doesn't sum up our PLO analysis, I don't know what does. The last analysis was you had some crazy stuff going on, and then we started from the turn.
Yeah, it was.
I'm like, well, these PLO hands are very hard to keep track of. Live as well. It's just, it seemed to just be all over the place.
Yeah, well, I thought it was going to be a different hand because I had one where I raised pre-flop pretty big. I don't have it in my notes, so it's going to be very light here. But it was several calls, and then it's a king-high flop. And I bet, thinking, okay, this is within my range to take down, get called. I'm pretty much done with it. But I have backdoor. There's two spades, and I have the ace of spades. I have ace queen. The turn's a queen, and it was the queen of spades. A player bets pretty decent into me. I make the call with now second pair, but the nut flush draw, and then nail the nut flush draw, and he checks, and I bet, and he's a really good player, so I got no value out of that. He ended up making the fold, but I had a lot of good. This was a pretty good night where a lot of rivers were kind of going my way.
That's the kind of night you want.
That was the night I want.
How am I going to go to Paramount for 20 minutes? I drove 40. Drove 20 there, 20 there, 20 back. Drive 40 and then only play for 20. You want to talk about... God, that still has me tilted.
That seemed the most... when you were on your way back, that seemed to be the most tilting thing to you, right? I don't know. It seemed like the fact that you drove 40 for 20 minutes seemed like it was just eating at you to no end.
I hate driving one. And I also hate losing. You know how awkward it is just to show up, be the first one to show up, and then just be the next person to go home?
It does sound pretty awkward, I will say.
I played two hands consecutively and got stacked in both hands.
Were they consecutive?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, I literally played like three hands. I folded I had one hand break maybe. But yeah, it was basically, I played, I got chips. The guy's like, here you go. I sit down, brush. He's like, what? I get chips again. He walks away. I lose him again before he even gets back to the desk, and I clock out.
God, that is awkward. I don't think the awkwardness would really bother me because you know how tilted I get when shit like that happens. But I would be just annoyed. But it was, that is awkward to sit down and basically 4 hands later, you're like, well, been a good night, fellas.
Not even 100% not 4. I'm debating 3. So it's 100% wasn't. I did not see 4 hands. So
God damn,
that's what I'm saying. It was 20 minutes once the whole session, but I clocked out in my car.
God, good God, man, that That is hurtful.
Yeah, so I'm still mentally recovering from that.
I mean, while Tyler's like just losing his shit over there, I end up $700 positive in a 1-1 game somehow. It's I mean, talk about opposite ends of the spectrum on there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that was that's a rough. Well, I mean, do you remember back in the days before they had the poker rooms in Houston, and then I would drive all the way to goddamn Louisiana. And granted, it's like not a big gambler. I mean, so I would only have like probably not even 2 bullets on me. I mean, there's probably nights I probably like showed up to Louisiana after a 3-hour drive and probably drove back home like, an hour later. Granted, I played tight as you would have played tight as shit. Drive all the goddamn way with Louisiana with 1 bullet in your wallet.
Yeah, I remember those drives back when I was buying it for $100 at 1-3. Yeah.
I mean, you start debating your decisions in life on that way back. I mean, when you win that drive back to Houston, not that big of a deal. When you've lost, time to ponder some shit in your life on that drive back.
Yeah, 100%. You got nothing but time on that. So,
so I mean, that was a pretty good. Let me see here. Let's go to the other sessions. So I had the Paramount session tonight, and which coming off of a good win, 2 good wins of 570 profit, 700 profit. I end up in a PLO hand, Ace 4-5-8, single suited to the Ace. The flop is Deuce 3 King Rainbow. Pretty good flop for me. I mean, I basically have like a little mini, like any ace, 6, 4, or 5 makes a straight. I pot, and there's 2 calls. The turn is a 7. Changing really nothing.
But that was not one of the cards you just listed for us.
That is not one of the cards.
That is the one thing I definitely caught on to about this hand. That was not one of the cards you're looking for.
But since no one re-raises on this flop, I'm assuming like a lot of people are not having that much. I mean, it seems like I'm getting re-raised by pocket kings or anything that's pretty good there. So I'm like, well, there's 2 people. If I potted, I could really put some truth serum to this. I pot and I pot 100, and the player next to me snap calls all in for 87.
Dang.
Like, well, that's and he has pocket kings.
Talk about a bad read.
The other player folds, and then I river a 6 for the nuts.
Yeah, well, you knew that was coming. That's why you did that, right?
Well, it ended up pretty good because the other player who folded actually said he had 4-5. So rather than being a chop, I end up taking the whole thing down. So that
worked out perfect, huh?
Not what I was going for, but I mean, ended up being a decent way to do it, I guess.
It's like getting the money in bad, not what I was hoping for. Winning, that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
I don't care how I did it. That's what I was hoping for.
I mean,
you fold now, or I'm going to river you.
Weirdly enough, when you go to spend that money, nobody asks you how you got it. Yeah. If you won it through luck or skill. Here's kind of a weird spot. I'm not sure if this is a cool or if I played this badly. A player bets. We're in pretty late position to his left. I have ace jack suited. I think about 3-betting here. I end up just making the call. There's another player calls, and then a player goes all in for 87. Comes back around, the player on my right ends up folding. This is kind of a tough spot because I think when players shove for not that much in their stack, they could kind of be kind of light. I think 10s could do that. I think any pocket pair 10s down could do this.
I'm assure you 10s up would do it too.
Oh, 10s up would do it too. I mean, I'm talking about hands that I can justify it against.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just giving it a list. I assure you aces are doing this.
So maybe some suited jack. I don't know. I end up making the call. The other player calls, but I mean, he calls like all in for 30. I mean, he had literally no chips in front of him. And the player shows pocket aces.
Yeah, I was about to. I mean, I thought this was gonna be one where you won, but I don't know. So you're in for 15. He shipped it for 86.
87.
87. Well, I mean, very weird. I mean, I do agree he is gonna be light there sometimes. I guess too bad it's not this time.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think it's a profitable call in the long run, or do you think it's one you just let go? Because I think I'm on the fence. Because I mean, if he's showing up here with pocket pairs, it's a great call.
How many times has he gone all in?
You know what? This is still pretty early in the session. I haven't seen him go all in yet, so that might be a tip to just go ahead and fold it.
I was thinking initially that it should have been a fold. I really don't like the call once I know that guy has 30 behind me. I don't know. I
mean, why would that matter?
Well, I don't know. I feel like a lot of times you're going to be dominated by someone. I don't know. I think I normally fold here with that going on.
I mean, I definitely can get behind a fold. I mean, some guy having $30 and me worried about being dominated by that guy seems like a weird spot to information.
Well, I don't think you're going to win very often. I also don't think I think just you're going to lose, I mean, even more often whenever you have three people in the hand. That's kind of my thought.
Well, that's fair.
I mean that's more what I mean. Because I feel like that guy's calling 100% of the time.
Oh,
I feel like this is a light call to begin with.
$5. I mean, 100% that guy's calling.
I thought it was 30 more on top of his 15.
No, he had 30 total.
Oh, okay. Now I see what you mean by it's irrelevant. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's slight. Okay. Now I'm getting what you're saying now.
Okay, I was so super confused. Tyler's like, that guy who has $5 more, fucking aces every time, man.
No. Okay. I thought that he was shipping for 80, and that guy had like another, like he was gonna have like close to 50 or whatever. So I was like, well, that's not great. I mean, because if he wins, you only win the $40 side pot or $80 side pot with your money.
Yeah, no.
That was my thought. Okay, saying he had $5 more does not matter. Okay. Okay, now we're on the same page. I was confused. I thought you were saying he had 30 more.
Yeah, no. It's so I end up like once I lose that pot, I'm kind of back to even. We play a bomb pot where I turn the nut straight on the bottom board, and I have a set of sevens on a monotone board.
On the other board, okay.
I'm
just potting.
I'm potting, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, well, but I mean, we got it into a huge pot, like it was 3 ways. It was called 3 ways.
It's fine, right?
And I mean, I was talk about annoyed, like we'll talk about not annoyed, but talking about just stressed because I have the straight. It's double suited on that board. So, I mean, it's 2 diamonds, 2...
Right, oh, yeah.
2 diamonds, 2 spades. And I'm like, well, this... Like, literally almost every river in the world is bad for me.
Yeah.
So, I'm like... And then I have a set of sevens on the monotone board, where somebody obviously has a flush. But, I mean, I have board pairing outs. But then I'm talking to the guy next to me after he goes all in and makes the call, and he's got, like, literally all the pairs. I mean, literally I have very few outs. So I'm like, I guess I'm hoping for a 3 of hearts or something. But sure enough, my nuts hold up on the bottom, and it doesn't pair on the top. So I end up splitting a pretty gigantic bomb pot.
Well, I mean, happy to hear you win. I mean, that's definitely not what you're hoping for to hear, but awesome that you won. Or chopped it 3 ways, which is nice. Or chopped a 3-way pot. So profiting there.
Yeah, that was really nice. So it was and that kind of basically lifted the night up to a certain deal. And I mean, I was really just having my way with just throwing like kind of using over aggression and having people fold to me.
I saw that. I was thinking I need to show up there and start playing.
Yeah. I am. It's just amazing. Like this one is the most blatant one where I was like, I just don't understand. 9-9. I bet 10, player calls, an upset tilted player makes it 35. I'm like, well, I think 9-9 is a little too light. It's just, I mean, against a player who's kind of tilted, I think I can make a call here. The other player behind me calls, The flop is king 7-5. I'm kind of done with it. It checks around, though. The turn is a 6. I'm like, well, most players, if they have a king, are betting that flop. So now I'm kind of betting for protection value.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm definitely betting here.
Yeah. I bet 35, not a gigantic bet. The player to my left folds immediately. The three better kind of folds after like 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and folds pocket queens face up.
And I'm sure you slam pocket 9s over those queens.
He was tilted enough. I just mucked my hand as soon as possible and took those chips. Yeah, I know. Yes, we all know you're an asshole. You would have like slammed pocket 9s down, fucking got on your chair, did a little dance. Tyler, we all know exactly what you would have done. I mean, just done a little, hey guy, I'm doing a fish dance. You're a fish. Yes, we understand what you would have done.
Dang, that's what I would like to hear you did.
Yeah.
Come on, that was a perfect time. You could see someone come unglued. Oh man, that would have been.
Oh, tell me about.
You should have done it for the podcast at least.
This was interesting. Tell me what you think of this one. It's straddled to 5. It's raised to 10. A player makes it 40. Comes around to me, and I have king queen suited.
I mean, unless you're folding, I don't know if I like it.
Okay. I kind of tank for a while. I make the fold.
Okay, good.
I
mean, how many times do you have to get stacked with king queen to? I mean,
the player next to me calls, and the player and then there's another player who calls. Flop comes king 7-7.
I mean, that's not good.
The pre-flop better jams over the just all on there, and I'm like, well, thank God I got out of this.
Yeah,
it's a so we I think he jams it for over pot. It was it was like I think it might have been 120 in the pot. I think he jammed for about 200. Okay. The other player to my left calls. The other player folds. They run it out, and the pre-flop 3-better has ace queen, and the guy who called has king jack off.
Yeah. I'm saying, if you tell me that the run out is queen and you wish you would have called, we're turning the podcast off right now.
but I can feel it coming.
I was about to say, swear to God, if you just tell me that you would have won this hand that you wish you would have called, I'm turning this off right now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's I love the fold there. Love to see you not get stacked for the 8th time on this podcast, calling with king queen suited, being dominated and being shocked at showdown. So
yeah, which I mean, it was the right fold at the moment. I mean, it was ace queen. I mean, he had ace queen, so it was completely dominated. But
yeah,
Tyler's like, yes, 3 years, and you've yet to show a profit with this.
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck you're expecting.
I'm like, well, okay. So I've heard this story so many times.
We're gonna do a YouTube video of what do you do with king queen. Yeah. Apparently, you just wipe your ass with it. That's pretty much it.
I was about to say, could you say this was a 4-bet pot? Is that what you said?
No, it was a 3-bet pot.
Oh, okay. I thought you said it went 5-5, 10. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, still love the fold. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you expect from me.
Okay. Well, I mean, it was sad to know that I could have won that, and flipped the script at that point. But yeah, it's but yeah, I end up with a profit of $395 tonight.
Yeah. Well, you keep calling with king queen suited and 3-bet pots, you won't have those nights anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I was about to say, I swear to God, if you tell me some random king queen suited hand again.
I like king queen suited.
I guess so. On another note, we did watch a poker vlogger that listeners might want to check out. Believe it's GH Poker, and we watched his latest video. You can find him on YouTube, and he was playing at spades. So,
on one, and he was playing on Capri at the other.
Yeah, and it was kind of cool because I haven't been to Capri, and you kind of talked about Capri, how nice it was. You can definitely see how nice the room is.
Yeah, it's always kind of neat to see the vloggers that vlog kind of nearby and see what they do and all that. I mean, it's always kind of cool.
And I did like to see he buys in for 300 in the 1-3 game instead of like seeing like the crazy Mario, like, you know how sometimes people buy him for 1,000 and stuff. It is nice to kind of see that change of pace a little bit.
Well, I think the thing that makes poker vlogs so entertaining is like versus like high stakes poker and all that. Like, and don't get me wrong, high stakes poker and all that's very super fun, but the poker vlogs have always been fun because they're very relatable. Like almost all the vloggers who play are these big 5-10 games. When we started watching them, they were playing 1-2, 1-3.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think Jamin, Brad Owen, pretty much all. Yeah, so it was it's always kind of nice to like, and now that they're all bigger, I guess it's kind of nice to have a vlogger who's doing kind of the smaller, and especially if they're good and he ends up working his way up, it's always fun to watch that progression.
Oh, that's always the best, right? Is the ride up is always the most enjoyable. But yeah, I mean, GH Poker, I would give it a watch if you into the vlogs. I'm sure if you're listening to the podcast, you watch vlogs too.
Yeah. So it was cool. And I thought the little end where he showed like Seawolf Park and all that, I thought that was kind of neat. I'd like to say definitely it seems like a vlog that might have some upside at some point. Definitely, I could see it. I mean, his video editing seems above average, I would have thought.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely say the video editing. And then also nice to see him making some moves pre-flop, some squeeze spots. Like you said, some of the spots, the sizing, I probably would have sized, $10 or $5. I mean, give or take, it's pretty nitpicky, up or down, whatever. But like you said, rather see him making these moves than not. I mean, that's how you get better, right? Is practicing making these moves.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was a couple places I definitely would have done some things differently. But that being said, his game is, you can tell there's thought going into it. And, I mean, I feel like it's going to be he's going to be a profitable player as around here. Because, I mean, he is making, it's not just standard all the time. And he is, a player who thinks through the hands.
No, absolutely. So, I mean, something to keep your eye on, I guess. But I guess on that note, this concludes the Texas Poker Podcast. We'll talk to you next week.
That was the Texas Poker Podcast. Go ahead and rack up, add time, and we'll see you next week.